Dead, where evil lurks in every shadow and monsters roam the streets. Mankind's only survival rests in the hands of two Welsh warriors, armed with boomsticks, chainsaws, bad language. These beacons of hope will stop at nothing to obliterate deadites, vampires, psychotic nurses. So, hold tight, strap in, and let the professionals take charge. Otherwise, you're in for a rough, blood-soaked night.
Hey, I've lost Curtis. Oh, I don't know where he is. What's going on there?
I was pressing show, and then you were pressing show at the same time, which removed it.
Ah, yeah, but I pressed it because you weren't there. You right?
Playing hide and seek. Yeah, not bad. Absolutely wrecked.
Yeah, I bet
This was a struggle to commit to doing a live this Sunday, let me tell you.
Yes, because originally we said we weren't going to do one, but you know, I think we got to do it. Got to give
you've got to
fans
suck
what
it
they
up,
want.
haven't you?
Yeah, I think we're committed to this channel, and I think we've got to go above and beyond. You know, at least
be done,
now.
Jenks. Because people are begging for us to come back every Sunday.
The mad thing is, because we live quite far apart.
Jenks, you always say yes, right? We live an hour apart.
People
watching.
Hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, for your slow driving. But people watching, when you say we live far apart, they may think we live in America, states or something. No, you're an hour down the road, Jenks.
Yeah, but we're Welsh, yeah? Down the road literally means down the road.
It's literally an hour drive.
Says the man who hasn't got a driving licence. Right, normally we have a catch-up because we live far away from each other, but this weekend we spent it together. We went to...
Unfortunately.
I know, and we had a... Don't be so negative. We had a blast at For the Love of Horror, and it was my first horror con, and it was one of the better ones con to you. Is that right?
Well, guest-wise, it was the best year. I got 5 photos booked. One of them had 3 in it, and one had 2 in it, so a lot more than 5 people. But I'd say this year was a lot busier. I had less time to just stand around and enjoy the scenery and just enjoy things and take it in. I was kind of stressed. But I have myself to blame. I did have a lot of photos booked.
Yes,
so I spent the majority of the day queuing for photos.
I know.
But something happened this year and it was absolutely rammed.
Well, I'll show these photos quick while you're talking about them. You've got... who's that handsome guy?
Yes, this one was a huge one for me. Obviously, this is the cast minus Bruce Campbell from the original Evil Dead 1981. You've got Betsy Baker, who plays Linda. You've got Teresa Tilly, who plays Shelley. And Richard DeMonica, who plays Scotty. Now, this photo would have been complete with Bruce Campbell, but I was so happy to get this one. I think all of them, it was their first UK convention. I think they do a lot in America. But, this was an absolute pleasure to get, and this is one I'll treasure.
Yes, and look how much she loves me. Look how she's grabbing my shoulders there. She's so chuffed of a young strapping lad in the photo. Yeah, and we got a twisted locker tops on.
Not as handsome as Bruce Campbell, though. She's been in the presence of Bruce Campbell, so...
Yeah, I haven't got the Bruce Campbell chin, unfortunately.
Oh, you've definitely got the chin, this other thing.
I don't know, man. Bruce Campbell's got a mighty chin, you know, a chin to be proud of. What else we got here? We got... Oh, that's a great one, that is.
Yeah,
Lynn
my
Shay.
God. This as well. I knew, right, that Lynn Shay was big because she's been around for a long time and she's done a lot. But her queue is the biggest queue I've ever seen for an actor. It was snaked up and down the arena. And that was the longest queue I've been in for an actor. And she was booked out and you had to book time slots. Most people... most people will get 1 or 2 time slots. She had 5 in one day, which is just insane. I booked the last time slot and it was still snaked. So she made an absolute killing. And it's nice to see that she's got such a big fan base. Yeah. Because Oh, she's awesome. And I know it's Insidious that's made her extra big. You know, she's become iconic for that character. But, God, she's been around for ages. Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah.
Critters.
Santa Mary, Kingpin.
Yeah.
Most
She's
underrated horror
awesome.
Comedy ever.
Yeah. That's one of my favourite photos now. And she was so sweet as well. Such a lovely woman.
I think she just probably, obviously she's come into fame quite late in her career and like big fame. And she's probably overwhelmed by like, oh my God, like people are loving this kind of character, which is great.
Oh, it's insane, isn't it? Yeah. She was the biggest star there by far.
I didn't want to do any photos, but she was the one that I was thinking about. I don't have the same buzz with photos as you do, but this was she was the only one that I flagged up. I thought, do you know what? She's quite cool. What else you got? You've got... Yeah, you
now
this one, didn't you?
I said this about all of them, but this one was extra big, and not just because they're both in the fog. So the photo was called the Fog Duo.
Yeah.
You've got Adrian Barbeau and Tom Atkins. But together, they've been in a few films together, but if you separate these two, the amount of cult classics these have been in. Tom Atkins is in Night of the Creeps, Maniac Cop, Creep Show, The Fog, Escape from New York. Adrian Barbeau's in Creep Show, Escape from New York, The Fog. They've done a lot of films together, but this was an absolute huge one for me.
Yeah, and you just know, like, you're good when a director wants to work with you. He's familiar with you. He likes your performances, and he's putting you in the other films. It's not lazy. It's like, no, these guys are good. You know, chuck them in all my films.
Absolutely.
And that's what,
and The Fog was the first horror movie that Tom Atkins did. It introduced him to that world, and Jesus Christ, he's made hell of a career out of horror films.
Yeah, and horror cons.
Yeah.
We got one. Oh, it's just like a cool one. Some great outfits, costumes, amazing ones. I gotta say,
those were top tier. There was some there that you could just chuck in the film and you wouldn't bat an eyelid. Like,
yes, totally. And this was one of my highlights. We met up with our fellow YouTube horror channel guys. We got a Wigan Cult Film Club. We got Barry from Wolfman Got Nads, and we've got Darren and what?
Nothing.
Darren and Frank from Slaughtered Lamb. It was amazing, wasn't it? We met up on the Friday.
It was good to get to know them properly and meet them in person. We had a few drinks. I drank way too much, got home late. But yeah, it was awesome. Terrifier was on in the background with a few of the actors talking, and yeah, it was just awesome to finally meet a few people from YouTube. I know it's something we always talked about that we wanted to do, is just start networking with people and getting a community going, you know?
Yes, totally. I should read some comments. We'll do one each. So Abigail, evening gents. Hi Abigail, awesome to see you again. You do the next one.
We got Sam Jones, yo. What's happening, pal? You okay?
What's that say?
Wagwan brethren. Get down with the kids, Jenks. Jesus Christ.
Oh, come on, I'm old, man. I'm an old guy. Jill, everything both? Everything good both? I'm guessing she's meant to say. Hope you recover from a fantastic weekend. Yes, we have. I think we've
not recovered one bit.
Yeah. We got Geordie. Hey, everyone. Hi, Geordie. Awesome. Don't forget to send a like button.
Thank you, Geordie.
Appreciate that. Yeah, Lynn Shay looks amazing. I think she's talking about. Oh, here we go. This is Darren from the Slaughtered Lamb. It's shit. He's just making fun of me all weekend. He just thinks I just say it's shit for every film.
Yeah, you do, Jenks. And half the time I wonder why I'm even doing this. Because it's shit.
You've got to have a catchphrase. I don't know anything about being a celebrity like me.
If you're doing a movie podcast, do you want your catchphrase to be "it's shit"? Because every movie is just shit.
Well, there's a lot of shit films in the world. There's a lot of awesome.
Do you know what
films.
mine's going to be? It's great, all right?
Yes. We
need to start spreading some positivity, Jenks.
Yeah, TSL is The Slaughtered Lamb. It's an awesome horror podcast. We've been inspired by
Darren
them.
is too tall, if anything.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why
he's too tall.
I was shocked that he was tall, but he was taller than all of us. I was probably a bit jealous. I assumed he was smaller. Yes. But no, it was so cool, and they were such good guys. I know it's a cliche, but were just normal guys. We had a chat, we had a few beers, we met up with them on the Friday and the Saturday. And I've noticed in this photo, which is an awesome photo, you and I are only the ones with beers. I promise you everyone was drinking. It was just that short. Totally. But yeah, it's awesome. Curtis' catchphrase is, "It's one of my favourite films of all time." That's brilliant. Yes,
no, that
true.
is true.
That's where this podcast is so good. We're polarizing, yeah? Everything's shit and everything's great.
I'm just passionate. My passion comes through.
Yeah, you let me down last few times.
We got Don. Hi, Dwarf. Hope you're well. Thank you, Don. Thanks for jumping on.
Hi, Don. But yeah, I'd have to say this is my first horror podcast, horror convention, and I did have a blast. I really did. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was a bit busy, and I'm guessing you felt like you didn't want my first experience to be so crowded, because obviously you've been to so many. And I did want to explore the stalls more because there's some amazing artists, but it was just so busy. You just felt guilty hogging the stall, because looking at the artwork.
But after my last photo, it was gone 4, we had another look around the stalls then, and it was a breeze. By that time, the majority of people have gone. The last panel was on. I think the last photo was done. I think Bill Moseley was the last photo. We didn't have my Bill Moseley photo in here, but I had an in-costume photo with Bill Moseley as Mop Chop, which was great.
Oh, I could have sworn I uploaded it.
He even had the what's it called, the coat hanger, the metal coat hanger he scratches his brain with.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got Eli Cortez as well. Eli Cortez. What's happening, pal? Again, Jenks, don't say his name, please.
At least he's not French. I have a problem with French names, okay? I got to say, I was just in awe of the amount of amazing costumes. Oh, there was a predator there. It was just like from the movie. It was incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was so good.
And I asked you, I said, are these guys like hired just to walk around? But it's just
to knock about, like.
Yeah, it's
and it's got to be taxing. I mean, the majority of these guys, they'll do the Saturday and the Sunday, and they will just walk around in their suits all day, which is just insane. There's one guy as well that goes every year. He dresses up as, I think it's Freddy versus Jason Freddy.
Yeah. And
then there's people who would pre-book him for free, like on Facebook pages, say, hey, will you jump in my Jason? If there's a Jason actor there, will you jump in my photo? And he'll just wait in the queues and go in photos with people just to have that extra prop with them. Yeah.
That's fair play, For no money. Yeah. It's just amazing.
It's all for the love of the horror, like.
For the love of horror.
For the love of horror.
Good play, yeah. But yeah, I would definitely do another one. The Friday, like I said, was the element. I enjoyed the sort of screening. You had Terrifier 1 and you had A House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm not a fan of that film, but I did have a chance to see a little bit of Terrifier 1 because I haven't seen it, which is a good segue into... Should we do a first review? Or is that happy to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Into Terrifier 3. Now, I haven't seen Terrifier 1 or Terrifier 2, but I have seen Terrifier 3. Now, there's something wrong with the order of that, but
it hurts. It hurts.
Look, you told me to watch this because of this podcast, because we were going to talk about it today, and that, you got to give me credit for the commitment of a film I really didn't want to watch, but I watched it, and in retrospect, I was a bit harsh in it. I think seeing so much Art the Clown in the horror con and so much love for that character, and seeing a little bit of the first film, I just thought it's just not for me. But that gives me no right to slag it off. He's a great character. It's some great inventive kills, very violent. Just not not much of a fan of that kind of horror. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. And I went to watch it before you, and I told you what I thought of it.
Yeah.
But I knew for a fact that you wouldn't like it because I know your taste. You'll just say it's shit. But I wanted you to go watch it because I wanted to review on Sunday. So appreciate that at least, Jenks. Thank you. Because I watched it and I absolutely loved it. So it's obviously something I wanted to talk about on the podcast. And I was late to the party myself. I remember Terrifier 1 coming out. I didn't think a whole deal of it.
Yeah.
Until the hype ramped up, it was like, I don't know how this movie's gotten so big. But then obviously the second one comes out, the third one comes out, and obviously they've got better with every film. But I watched Terrifier 2, and then I went straight to cinema after it finished, rushed to cinema, watched Terrifier 3, and it was probably the best experience I've had in cinema, because the film had already been out a week. It was an absolute ram-packed theatre. There genuinely was not a seat empty. And all the stuff that goes on in the film, everyone was constantly getting up and leaving and coming back in. You had a lot of blokes there with their girlfriends, which I assume they dragged them to, because every time something bad happened, the girlfriends would just get up and walk out.
Yeah.
My girlfriend just kind of turned a bit harder, like. But the film aside, is what I loved more about this movie is the experience of seeing it on the big screen, and it is by far the nastiest and most violent movie I've seen on the big screen. And I just fell in love with the character of Art. He is amazing. Now, I know the film doesn't have a massive story or a massive plot, but Damien Leone knows his audience. He knows who he's feeding to, and that's exactly what he gave us. He gave us a fantastic, grimy 80s throwback movie, and that's exactly what it was. We've got some great cameos of some horror legends, and yes, some of the nastiest shit I've ever seen put to film. But what's great about it is Art is so fun to watch that I wouldn't consider it torture porn or too much, like some of the films we've spoke about before, Human Centipede and that, because Art is such a likeable character. You kind of enjoy seeing him butcher these people, because I'm enjoying watching this character, you know, but I absolutely loved it.
I tell you, right, so for me, the things I don't like about it is there's very little plot, if any, and this just jumps from scene to scene, and it's just lots of scenes tagged together, and I don't really like that. But what I did like about it a lot, I like the character Art the Clown. I didn't know how to make of him before, years ago, when I used to see him pop up on those All Hallow Eves segments. And I thought, who's this? Like a clown. I thought, how can you do a clown with Pennywise so famous? And then obviously it's massive now. Like number 2 was massive.
Yeah.
This is even bigger. I think this is biggest film in America at the moment. It's like number 1. I saw something pop up.
Yeah, it's I read a post. Terrifier 3's number 1 movie in Australia, expanded to another 32 cinemas. Number 1 movie in France, expanded to another so-and-so theatres. It's just every country. It's the biggest movie in every country.
So those are the elements I don't like. I don't like over-the-top violence, but the violence in it, like he's a child killer as well, but you don't really see him do it. It's just implied, and you hear noises and things. So there is a little bit of restraint from the director of, like, you know what, there's a limit, you know. But it's such a cartoony film that it's hard to get overly stressed with the violence, because it's not set in a realistic, gritty world like Hostel or Human Centipede.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Over the top. And Art the Clown is an incredible addition to like the horror world. Like he is easily
so good.
Put in now with Freddy, Jason, and all these characters.
I have got Art fever. I went to the HorrorCon this weekend. Like, I'm going to spend all my money on art shit. I did end up doing it because there wasn't that much, but I've got proper Art fever. And I'm just obsessed with this film now.
I tell you another thing I really liked about it. Probably my favourite part was, I think her name is Vicky or Victoria, his partner in crime, the zombie. Is that right?
Or the witch.
Yeah, she's Vicky, her name is, isn't it?
Yeah. She's so good.
She's my favourite character by a mile. I think I don't know is she in the other ones?
She's in all of them, yeah.
But
not as much as this. It's kind of set up. Yeah.
So I suppose it's a good plot device because she can speak for him, really, isn't it? To get some dialogue in it. But she's so menacing, and the end. I'm not going to spoil it, but obviously she is a big end scene involving her and him, and she's brilliant. The makeup is brilliant. She's so nasty, and she's relentless, just as relentless as him, even though he doesn't speak. And silent killers tend to be hard. You can't.
She may even be nastier than him.
Yes, and she's like, obviously there's comparisons to Harley Quinn and the Joker, And obviously, Damien Leone is very much like, I'm guessing he knows that. It's no big surprise.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But those are the positives. So I know we had a bit of banter about the film. I'd said I'd give it 3 stars, then I said it was 2 stars. But in retrospect, I would probably give it 3 stars. It's just not for me. But I'm tempted to watch part 2. So it's done something to me.
It's really good, Jenks, honestly, because I
fussed
think
on
I
number
enjoyed
2
it
though,
more.
did you?
No, I did. I give number 2 4 stars.
Right.
So I really enjoyed number 2, and the reason I enjoyed it so much is because I weren't expecting to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, I have kind of been pushed to watch these films, and I knew from the start they were right up my street. I love my classic slashers, and that's exactly what this is geared towards. But for some reason, I always just kind of went, I can't be arsed. But I have kind of like been forced to watch these films, and I'm so glad I did, because, yeah, I just love them. The second one is great, but Terrifier 3, everything I liked about the second one, it dialed it up and made it even better. Obviously, with the third one as well, it was the first movie where Damien Leone didn't do the makeup. And I'm not saying that's a good thing he didn't do in this one, but they had enough money to bring a team of people in to do the makeup. So you can really see that step up, and not just the makeup, the cinematography as well, the feel, the look and feel of the movie. You can see it's a massive step up, similar to Terrifier 2 being a big step up from the first one. And I can only imagine what the fourth one's going to look like, because, again, he is just a superstar now. This movie has made bank.
The fourth one...
Last time I checked, it was on 30 million on a 2 million budget.
Yeah, the fourth one is going to be huge, without a doubt. Like the second one, you could see people going, how is this still shitty film getting so much press? And because of that, this one is huge. And the cinema I went to was pretty busy, actually. And I went later than you, like a good few days after it came out. The funny thing was, when I went, I go on my own attentive, especially something like this. My wife would never watch this. And I was sitting there watching it, and, some of the bits are horrible to watch, but, I could handle it. But I needed a pee halfway through, and I was worried people would think that I was getting out. So I made sure I waited for a really boring bit, and as quick as I could.
Not just that, right? You needed to piss so bad that running down the aisle like
because there's loads of blokes there, and I thought, oh, they're gonna think I'm like disgusted. But it was I have kind of got caught up in the craziness of Art the Clown, and I think this weekend helped a lot.
Of course,
because it was Art Mania. I think he was the star of the festival, the con, definitely.
Last year, even more so, because they had more Terrifier actors there last year. So again, last year was Terrifier Mania, and I think it's going to remain that way. Just as much as Freddy is still in these conventions, it's still a lot of people cosplaying as Jason, Freddy, Michael, Leatherface. He is absolutely here to stay, and I know I've watched a lot of interviews with Damien Leone, and he's kind of set on not overdoing this franchise, which in a way is a good thing, right? Because everyone knows that the bigger these franchises get, the over diluted they get, and they end up going silly because they haven't got anything in mind on how to make another sequel. They just go, we need to make another sequel, but we haven't got an idea for it. Now Damien Leone has said, I have ideas. I know what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
I may stretch the fourth one out into 2 films because my idea runs more than 2 hours. But after that, if I haven't got a solid idea, I'm not going to pump one out just for the sake of it.
Well, he's not going to do like Art the Clown Nightmares, where each week a different story.
Yeah. But yes, he seems like a guy who'll stick to his guns. But I won't complain. If they keep making these movies and they're good, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, as long as they're good. Do you know what? I watched a lot of Friday the 13th recently, and a lot of them are shit. But, I still want to see a Jason film. I'd watch another Freddy film, even in spite of how bad, like, Freddy's Dead was.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I think Terrifier are back in the hood. And also in space. I mean...
do you know, Leprechaun into Hood, what the hell were they thinking? Leprechaun. They did two. They did a sequel as well. Leprechaun in the Hood 2.
Back in the Hood.
They're going to space, yeah.
Do you know, right? If Terrifier went to space, I'd watch it probably. I just think, fuck it, you know?
Well, I'm still waiting for Machete Kills Again in space.
Is that supposed to come out?
Well, it was a fake trailer at the end of the second one, but apparently he was going to do it just for the shit of it. But there's even a clip where his machete lights up like a lightsaber. Now, they could get away with it and you could have fun with that because, well, Machete's a throwaway film, innit? It's just a fun fake trailer grindhouse movie like.
Yeah, that's not for me. But yes, I would give kudos to this awesome zombie, the witch, whatever you want to call her, Vicky the Witch. It is some fantastic makeup. She's very menacing, and there's a scene with a piece of glass. That's anyone who's seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about. I won't go into detail.
That was the one bit where I was like, like I was looking, but it was a kind of like forced look, you know.
Do you know what? Right, when we were in that HorrorCon, they showed the music video. I'm not sure the name of the band. Big rock song, Art the Clown.
Ice Nine Kills, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a good song. I don't really like that kind of. It's a bit heavy for me, but it's not too bad. Anyway,
yeah, but that music video makes it 10 times better because you've got Art the Clown with a minigun shooting the crowd. Like.
Do you know what? Right, the scene in that with the baby, the pregnant mother, is more disturbing than anything I saw in Terrifier 3. Like anything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like there was a shower scene that everyone talks about in Terrifier 3 that was quite disturbing, but the person, I don't want to give it away, I'll talk in code, the person was already pretty fucked up by the chainsaw before the thing happened, so I was thinking, it's not as bad, you know?
But
not as bad as the thing that happens in the first one to that girl, when she's tied upside down. That's
of course, because that's the first thing that happens to you, and then you've got to go through that. Then I think at some point your body's got to shut down.
Yeah, I think that scene in the first one, which I saw for the first time in the HorrorCon with the girl upside down, and she was on stage talking about it. The woman.
Yeah.
That is a bit too graphic for me. That's
Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't watch Bone Tomahawk. Anything like that, too much. But I would say about that music video, it's very graphic. Anything with pregnant women and babies, I don't find that even remotely funny, or it's just too much. But they showed that video on the Saturday, and there's loads of little kids there, and I was thinking, like, I know it's a HorrorCon. But like, surely is there like, an age certificate, like, because that is really graphic to show, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, there was prams a lot in there.
Yeah, I wonder if they just think, who's going to say anything? Because that's a really graphic scene. If
give them their first glimpse in it.
Yeah, if you took your little daughter now, she'd be like, oh my god, that's what the hell's happening.
Some say Leprechaun in the Hood did make Ice-T's career.
Ice-T's in it, is it?
I think, he skyrocketed after that film.
Do you know what I love about? I know I'm not a big fan of these type of schlocky sort of horrors, but I would say I love the covers, the posters, the artwork that's associated with these type of movies. I love it.
And there's like 20 official posters for each film, and every single one of them are great because there's so much you can do with it. There's so many scenes to pull from. There's so many iconic things throughout the films.
Yeah.
I love the play. I love the Christmas play with the new one. So obviously it's set on Christmas.
Yeah.
And just seeing Art in a Santa costume was insane. But again, the teaser trailer, because it's set on Christmas, the teaser trailer showed Art in, it was basically like the opening scene. Yeah. And it didn't actually show anything happen to the kids, but it implied it in the trailer. And I think there was a lot of backlash on that because you're setting a film on Christmas, you've got this insane serial killer, and now there's a kid in the teaser trailer. But luckily, they didn't show too much in the film. I wouldn't have liked that, to be honest.
No, it's too much. I think Damien Leone was probably smart, and I think he knows where to restrain himself, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise, it's just like he's going to have to keep on pushing the boundaries to the point where he's not going to get his film made. It's like, oh, what else can I do? What's worse? And to the point where everything's going to suffer if that's his only thinking,
Yeah. Well, he does have a kill list, so what he's got like a book where he's got loads of kills written down, and he said one time in an interview, he said, how many more films are you going to do? He's like, when I run out of kills. So I've still got a list of kills I need to get through. So I think he's got kills, and then when he writes the script, he works in the kills he wants to do into the script then.
I got to
Which makes sense because every kill is big. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's well thought out, like.
Yes. Andrew Bishop says, this movie was not that good. A lot of senseless bullshit. I agree. I totally agree. It wasn't that good, and it was a lot of senseless bullshit. But I am kind of seduced by Art the Clown and the Witch, and I'll slowly forgiving the nonsense of the script.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could be just seduced by the horror con. Maybe if I rewatched it, I'd be like, no, I'm going back to my catchphrase is shit. Shit. Yes. Are you ready to move on? You got anything else to say about this film?
No, I'm all settled, Jenks.
Right. You can go.
I said my piece.
You can go to the toilet now because we're going to review Smell 2 and you haven't seen it. I'm going solo again. I'm sorry, everybody. You can say
watch everybody leave now, right? You'll just see the numbers drop.
Oh, no. The numbers are going up. Let me just read another comment before I move on. Eli, a little off topic, but do you consider Leatherface a traditional slasher, a backwards hillbilly villain like The Hills Have Eyes or Wrong Turn? I don't consider him a slasher. God. I agree. I think it's a backwards.
That's a good bloody question.
Look, if somebody did a poll and they threw it in a slasher, you're not going to have a lot of arguments, the same as you wouldn't have arguments if you had 28 Days Later and a zombie thing because they're not dead. But gun to my head or chainsaw to my neck, I'd say backwards. Backwards hillbilly.
I'd have to agree, and it's more to do with the feel of the movie as well. I'd say, but it's hard though because he is a slasher icon. It's a tough question, but more so hillbilly, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Haley Jones, hi guys.
Hi Haley.
Right, so I went to see this.
Jenks, make it quick, all right? Make it quick.
I will, I promise. I saw this film the other day. Now, in all fairness, you would have seen it if you had a chance, but you would chock-a-block.
Yeah, of course.
The first film, okay, Smile 1 was perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing new. You know, the smile concept, I felt that had been done already. Like, I think in Truth or Dare, everybody was smiling. I think, it just didn't seem that special to be a film all built around this smile thing. But it was a perfectly passable film. Now, I wasn't interested in number 2. I would have watched it for the podcast. And when I saw the trailer for Smile 2, I think we did a reaction. I thought it was very generic. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I don't remember being that impressed. Just thought, yeah, whatever, it looks all right. I'll watch it.
I'm just going to mute my mic, okay?
Get lost. Are you going to talk? You've got to talk. I might involve you. But this film was way too good. It had no business being this good. I don't know what it was. I think the director, Packer Finn. Oh, he's so good. He's not French. He's just got a normal name. I was like, when I had to research his name, I was like, Packer Finn. Yes. Bob Jones. Yes. This film stars Naomi Scott. She is absolutely brilliant in this. She was, I think, what's her name in? You've probably seen this with your kid. Aladdin. What's the girl called? Jasmine. Yes.
Yeah.
Now now people compare the trailer to like Trap because it's a pop star and there's a lot of don't even go there, right? Trap is a piece of crap, okay? It's absolute shit. This is so well made. The acting in it, from her particular, is so brilliant, like Oscar level of the stress. Now, the best way to describe this film is if you take away the horror, it's just a woman having a bit of like a very, very famous pop star who's been to rehab and stuff like that, the classic tropes of a pop star, and she's having a bit of a breakdown. She is as big as like Taylor Swift in this film, and it feels you believe that she's this famous person, right? It's a really good script, and she's having a stress and having a breakdown, but then you've got the added horror, the curse of the smile. make it even worse. And this film would feel like a horror without the curse. It's so stressful and horrible. I loved it. The scares are really good, on point. The acting, the dialogue, it's just a really good film. Now, some people might think it's a bit, her performance is a little bit, she's so like stressed all the way through that people might get irritated, but I was mesmerized. I was so impressed. And I would recommend it to you, Kurt, when you get a chance. Maybe not.
I will definitely watch it. I don't even know if I can fit in this week now. I'm going away on Thursday, and
yeah,
I'm at this point. I'm a bit gutted. I may miss it.
I would recommend it.
I wouldn't have run to cinema to watch it. I same as you, Jenks. I thought the first one was a passable horror movie. There was nothing wrong with it. But I watched it when it came out. Yeah, it was good, and then went on to the next one.
Same here.
And yeah, I wasn't going to rush to see this one, but it's had some really good reviews. Some mixed ones, but I think you're so fussy that if you tell me a film is good, I know it's probably going to be good, because you pick so many holes. Like, this is the way I see it, right? If you tell me a film is shit, it can still be good. But if you tell me a film is good, I know it's going to be good. Apart from Strange Darling.
Let's not get into that now, okay? Right. I would recommend this film. It had no business being this good. It was I was more blown. Like, it was scary in parts, really cool scenes. It is much better than the first one. But it's just her. You're just mesmerized by her performance. And when you have to watch it to understand what I mean. It's not just a runaway sort of final girl sort of performance. It's not just her. She's clearly a really high-end actress. But the script, it's so tight. Every line she delivers feels like a real person. And I got to give my credit to her. Really, really good. Let's read a few comments quickly. Hey, Joe, I didn't enjoy Smile One. Yeah, it is a decent film, but it didn't blow me away, like we said, Kurt.
Yeah.
Eli, I'm seeing Smile. I think it's on, is it on Netflix? I think it could be.
Paramount Plus, I think it is.
I can't remember.
Plus.
Davey Deathray's in the house.
Yes!
Hey, Dave, everybody, happy Sunday. He's our boy from Davey Deathray channel. He is another fellow horror channel. He's awesome. He's become a bit of a friend to the channel, and vice versa. He's a top
of
bloke,
course. Yeah, we've done a few things with Davies. He's an awesome guy. Thanks for jumping on, mate.
Yeah, appreciate that. Eli, my guy. I love this little community that you can see around us. It's like everything
it's
that we.
Amazing.
It's like everything we wanted this channel to be, and it's kind of happened really quick, isn't it? Like with friendships.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of the guys that come on our lives every Sunday, and we've done videos with. They've been doing this a lot longer than us. And they've just welcomed us with open arms. It's been great. And everybody's just accepted us. Even though the majority of people probably can't understand what we're saying with our thick Welsh accents.
Yes.
I appreciate you sticking those subtitles on and watching.
Do you know, right, in the HorrorCon, when we were having a drink with the Slaughtered Lamb guys and Barry from Wolfman's Got Nads, we were talking to Frank, because Frank from the Slaughtered Lamb is American. And Barry's Scottish, if you've seen his channel. And we were asking him, who's the most difficult to understand? Is it Scottish accent or Welsh? And he said Welsh was the hardest to understand. But I would argue this because there's so much Scottish in pop culture. Like, there's a Scottish character in The Simpsons.
Yeah, of course.
There's got Braveheart, but there's very little of Wales, isn't there? We don't hear the accent very often.
It's an alien accent to the majority of the world, of course. We're a forgotten country, really.
Yeah, you like Anthony Hopkins is our biggest actor, but he never sounds Welsh in his films, does he?
No, never sounded Welsh.
And I think the closest,
and he's from close to us as well.
Yeah, really close. But it's like Robert Downey Jr. did a Welsh accent in Dr. Dolittle.
Dr. Dolittle, yeah.
And it was a pretty good accent. A lot of people slagged it off. I thought it was really good. I thought it was quite good.
It was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it was good.
But it was funny because Michael Sheen was in there not doing a Welsh accent.
Yeah. So back to Smile 2. There's a scene...
Oh, really?
I'm almost done, I promise. There's a scene in it with loads of dancers that's so unique, and it could only be in this movie because of she's this pop star that does lots of dance routines, and And it's great when you create a film with an environment and you can create scares that are unique to this because of the script. And it's spot on. And if anyone's seen this film, it is. Oh, she's creepy as well. But the problem is with the trailer, it made a lot of these scenes seem comedic, especially this scene. And in the movie, it's quite a horrifying scene, you know. But yeah, that's the dude from
Everything at the moment.
Roadhouse. It's a good shot of his nose. Snot coming down. Yeah, right. Should we move on? I know you're desperate.
Yeah, come on.
Sorry,
I'm
but I
losing
recommend
my vocal
it.
cords here, man.
I know. I recommend
Talking too
it.
much.
Sorry, apologies. Mr. Crockett. I forgot about this. Do you want to kick it off? I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, so we've got Mr. Crockett, a crock of shit. It's not that bad, actually. I just wanted to say that. It's not that bad.
Mr. Yeah.
I wish it was bad just so I could actually use that and it could have some power behind it.
Yeah.
But Mr. Crockett is a new movie. You can watch it on Disney+. It's just been chucked straight on the stream then. Had a bit of a silent release over here. I had to search for it. Weren't on any menus, nothing. But it's the best way I can explain it is an evil Mr. Rogers, right? So he's a children's show host and he's died a long time ago and he's basically been reincarnated through this videotape of his show, Mr. Crockett. And the kids get the tape. It just mysteriously shows up outside their house. They start watching and they get mesmerised and drawn into the show. And he targets kids with bad parents. I don't quite think he actually does anything bad to the kids. He genuinely hates these bad parents. But yeah, that's the basis of the story. It's got such a good premise. It's set in the 90s as well, so it's got that great 90s feel and look about it. And it opened up brilliantly. It's got such a great opening scene, really creepy stuff. And I feel like Mr. Crockett had the potential to be a big horror icon. Yeah. Now, I know those are big words, but the flashes of him you get early in the film, I was like, oh my God, this guy's terrifying. There's a bit where the TV starts shaking and where the tape goes into the TV, it opens and you can see him inside the TV.
Yes, the flat
that
bit.
Was,
no, in the video player.
Yeah. That
VHS.
Was nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
That proper put the shits of me. And the first 10, 20 minutes of this film, I was like, oh my God, this is right up my street. And I'm sure you agree, Jenks, it does start to fall flat as the film goes on.
Yeah. For me, I saw it pop up before you mentioned it. I thought it was a kid's film. I thought, oh, what's this? Because the cover doesn't give away much. But it is a great premise. And under a better writer-director, maybe, it could have been, you could say, it could have been a new, I call it like a new Candyman, new Freddy or something.
Of course.
Because he is menacing, the guy who plays it. And I wrote down his name, and it's a bit of a crazy name. His name is Elvis Nostalsko or something like that. But Elvis, how good's that name? He's a really creepy guy. And
he's got such great charisma as well. He delivers his lines brilliantly. He is by far the best thing about the film. Obviously, the film is built around him. They needed to find someone who could deliver those lines.
Yeah.
But, I do hope, I genuinely hope it does well enough to get a sequel and they can kind of go away and say, look, this is what people didn't like about this one. What can we do to make it better? Because it's kind of what they've done with Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, obviously, it was a monster hit. It made enough money to garner a sequel. But everybody had the same complaint about the first film. And they've come to us and said, look, we know what you didn't like. I promise we're going to improve in the sequel. Please come and see that one. Now, I'm hoping they do the same with this one. I'm hoping, which I don't think it's going to happen. It was chucked straight on streaming. No one's really talking about it.
Nope.
But this film has such big potential and it would be a shame to see it get one mediocre movie and then nothing. I'd hate it.
You can tell when I was looking for images for this, I go to the movie database and there was only 2 images, like backdrop images. That's never a good sign. But what I would say, this would have worked really well as an hour segment on an anthology or something.
Yes, because we mentioned VHS, didn't we? It would have been a great VHS segment.
And all the shortcomings of it, you would have forgiven it if it had been just an hour. But because it was a movie, I think the biggest problem was the third act. I think a child gets taken. The main protagonist's child gets taken. His name is Major. Terrible name. No disrespect to anyone got Major watching this, but imagine there was now of other 19 people watching.
I know.
Anyway, he gets taken.
Watch yourself, Jenks.
He gets taken, and her performance is terrible. She's as if she just lost her keys or something. There's no urgency.
Checking her pockets.
She's lost her TV remote control down. Like, where the fuck's that gone now? It's just like no stress at all. Like, I know it's just a bit of a silly film, but you know, it's played straight outside the magic world of Mr.
Yes,
Crockett.
look, it is a silly film, but it's a horror film. There's hardly any comedy elements in there, other than he gives a bit of a comedic performance, but that's just because he's a kids show host. So he is a bit wacky, but it was definitely made to be, you know, a straight up film. I feel like that would just be down to the acting itself, not the direction in the film. They were not the direction the film wanted to go in. It would have just been down to the actors, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to just pause this quickly. Just want to read a few comments because some of them are from previous stuff we're talking about. Don Keat, I didn't really enjoy Smile 1, so is it Smile 2 worth watching? Yes, I would definitely recommend it. If you really didn't like the first one, then maybe catch the second one on, I'd say DVD, but streaming. Nobody watches DVD. And 1 second, Edward Jenkins says, not seen Terrifier 2 or 3, but one is dubious. So gory, it might as well be a manga cartoon. Yeah,
That's spot on, to be fair.
that's a good shout.
It was. I'm proud of that one, man. The name of the film was Asking for It, Mr. Crockett.
Right. Do you know when we yeah. Oh, I see. I'd miss you.
It was more clever than you changing trap to crap.
Yes, and you didn't notice for ages.
I didn't.
Yeah. What we got here now?
Camp 86 is a better film. I haven't heard of that one.
Have you not heard of that?
No,
That's
have you?
bad. No.
Oh, well, there we are then.
No, I'm asking.
You
because
put
you
all the
love
pressure on me.
because you love all these like camp murder films like Sleepaway Camp and all that. And Naomi Scott delivers in Smile 2. Yes, she does. And I know everyone's saying it, but it is true. It's a special performance. It really is. Like
I could see that from the trailer, to be fair. It looks like a taxing movie. Like she would have to have a break for a few months after filming that.
And, do you know she's doing a dance routine in it? Like she's practicing in a studio, and you know what? This woman, I know she probably obviously rehearsed for the film, but she clearly knows her shit because she is like a real pop star, like really good. I prefer Smile 2 as part 1. Yeah, I totally do. Honestly, Kurt, I think you need to check it out.
I'll definitely watch it
I think we've talked you into it.
I was always going to watch it. It was just finding the time, you know.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I'll always go to cinema to watch a new horror.
So yeah, back to Mr. Crockett. Unfortunately, it's not a bad film. It's not a bad film.
No, it's not.
Look, it's tough, like because we respect movies and we respect something original. Someone's done something very original, probably on a very low budget, with a cast of nobodies you never heard of, and they tried to do something original and. For the most part, it worked. It's just, it needs to maybe a bit of tightening up, do you know?
No, of course. And my biggest problem was, and my girlfriend agreed, that the first 2 acts were very good. I mean, the first act was fantastic. The setup and the build-up. Although that first scene at the dinner table is crazy wacky. Although a little bit more up my street than yours. But towards the third act, when you start seeing him too much, I like the lore that they went into when you showed his backstory, and you could see he was a piece of shit when he was alive. Yeah, you can see those cutbacks to him on set shouting at people and screaming, and you can see this guy was a piece of shit. Like, but that third act, when you kind of spend too much time with him, and that's the problem Freddy Krueger had towards the end of his career, is obviously he got too big and they started showing him too much. They did this on the first one with this one, when this guy was in the shadows and in the TV and you got little glimpses of him, it was so terrifying and
Yeah.
quick snippets. But
Yeah.
soon as the third act, when you're in the studio with him and he's just talking and acting normal, the mystique's gone. Do you know what I mean?
And there's way
The
too
fear's
much,
gone.
way too much exhibition at the end. He's talking and talking, explaining
Yeah.
the story, way too much. But he is a good villain, and I kind of wish he got a bit of a cult following, so it could have another stab at it. That would be quite cool, isn't it?
Oh, great. Like I said, I would love to see them give it another stab and just make it more of a solid film with a bigger budget.
Yeah, and then you just look back.
Let's
and go,
get that Terrifier audience on there. You
Yeah,
know? Let's
because-
make a better sequel.
Yeah, let's do a hashtag. Jordan, even lads was gutted and missed the Smile double bill in the cinema at the weekend. There was one where I was, and I was tempted.
God, that would have been a hefty double bill.
Yeah, you're talking like, well, it's not like Lord of the Rings. I saw that. I saw the triple one. It was about 2 days. But yes, to sum it up, I would recommend this if you want an easy 80 minutes. You're not going to be blown away. But if you
Yeah,
want something
of course.
different, you probably will agree with most of the stuff we have. It's not, it's
Nothing
very,
to write home about, yeah.
No, definitely not.
We've got a little call up here, Jenks.
What's
Do you want to
that?
read that one? Do you want
Which
to
one?
read that? Eli's message. Just read that one out, will you?
Jenk so mean to the boy. The boy, that's your new name.
Oh,
isn't
I
it?
said joke at the end. No. More people need to call Jenks out for being nasty to me. Because it's got to stop, like.
Look, it's not my fault. You got terrible, terrible taste. Do you know what? You know the funny thing about you? You're surrounded by bad taste. All around you, your bad taste is. You can see in your backdrop. I've got all classy films like.
The Thing? What? They live?
I'm joking.
Come on. All right, Army of Darkness, Brain Dead.
They're
Bit
great
more
films.
schlocky.
I've just got important stuff like the Babadook
Oh,
and
Babadook. Absolute
and
turd.
got like Schindler's List and Driving Miss Daisy.
And just a guitar in the background as well, just to make you seem a bit more
Yeah,
distinguished.
no, it's AI.
Yes, I
It's-
play guitar.
It's AI. It's not really there. It's just.
I won't be surprised if we start a live one day and you're just sitting there with your guitar, like,
I've just got
serenading everyone with a nice smooth tune.
I've just got a hole in the wall, and I'm just trying to cover it up with a guitar. Yeah, I got Rude Ralph as well.
The clown from Poltergeist didn't do the job today.
Now, anybody born in the 80s, will you remember Rude Ralph? God, nobody. It's quite expensive on eBay now if you sold him. I fished him out of the Arctic.
I would sell it, to be fair.
Well, he's so small, pity.
Pity.
Yeah, right. If anybody wants to chuck us a question, horror related, we'd love to answer you. Don't stress if you don't have one. It's fine. Because you're probably tired. But what's your next film you're going to watch, Jen? Anything at home?
Oh, well, you've got Timo Tollanto's new film, just been dropped on Netflix a few days ago. I cannot wait to watch it. It's called The Shadow Strays. Now, anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of violent action movies. I'm a huge fan of Gareth Evans, the Raid movies.
Yeah.
Timo Tollanto does similar movies, but a lot more violent. He did a great one called... what's it called, man? The Night Comes For Us. There we are. Thanks for helping.
Oh, I've
The
seen
Night
that,
Comes For
I
Us,
think.
which is an absolute 5-star movie, and I've heard that this one tops it, and it's meant to be ultra violent.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to watch it tonight. It's over 2 hours. I'm probably going to watch an easy film in bed, but that's the film I'm most looking forward to at the moment. Absolutely.
Guess what I watched today?
What did you watch?
The first 3 episodes of season 3 of From.
Oh, did you? I'm waiting
Yeah.
for them to build up a bit more.
Well, there's about 6 there now, so I thought it was enough now to
Yeah.
get cracking. My wife and I watched it this morning, and it's more of the same in a good way, not in a bad way.
Yeah, of course.
It's moving the story forward. They do give you answers. They give you new sort of mysteries as they goes on, but I feel like it's building to something, not just like adding like Lost.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
So it was a risk, but I love the show. It's
Do you know what I watched today?
Something
You'll be-
shit.
You'll be very happy about this one. A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Oh, finally. Right, don't mention it. We're going to do a review. It was his homework. I watched it a few weeks ago.
I've got my review all set up, but I got the pictures coming. Everything.
I watched it a few weeks ago prepping, but we've been putting it off and off and off. And yes, he's finally watched it now. We've obviously seen it before, but we would need to refresh
but
our
start
minds.
rewatching it.
Yes, and take a few notes. Let's read a few comments here, guys. Babadook and Faculty, I love them. Yeah, great films.
Faculty is immense.
I know Curtis hates the Babadook.
I don't hate it. I just didn't think much of it.
Before I forget, do you want to show everybody what you bought in the HorrorCon? You've been itching because you only know you can see it, see?
Oh yes, of course. So I picked this up. I got way too much They Live merch now because it's just so awesome.
Yeah, that is
Look at
awesome.
that. Weighs a ton as well. So yes, this was my pride and joy from the convention. This the same guy who made Selwyn. He hand makes these. Andy
right.
Cope from UK. He's an awesome guy. But yes, same guy, and it's my ritual now. I think every time I go to these conventions and he's there, I'll buy something off him because he doesn't charge that much either. I think he should charge more.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell him that, but yes, he's awesome, and I'm chuffed with
that. Dawn Keat, what do you think of the remake of what's that?
ZCA.
Zombie.
I don't know.
Yeah, Dawn, you have to elaborate.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. Sorry, Don.
Zoolander.
Zoolander.
Something.
Yeah, if you can let us know what that abbreviation is, that'd be awesome.
I'm gonna take a guess and say shit. No, and you're gonna say best film ever, masterpiece. Shadow Strays is immense. You'll not be disappointed.
Yes.
Oh, is that what you mentioned the other day to me? You sent me something.
Yeah, Timo's new film. Yeah.
Oh yes, right. I couldn't remember you're on about, but I recognise now the color.
This has been one of my most anticipated for the year. I love the director, and I just love this style of movie. Now, it's when you get action movies incorporated with horror films, and this is what they are, Jenks. I don't care what you say, right? The Raid is a horror movie, and Gareth Evans has said himself, he's done a zombie movie, but taken the zombies out, and he's got crack dealers.
Yeah, but it's not a horror film. Come on.
It is a horror film. That's from the. It's not. That's from the director's mouth. Yeah, and it's the same with Timo's movies. So I haven't seen the Shadow Strays yet, but I can guarantee you this one is borderline horror violence. Now, if a movie has that much violence, Jenks, and that much cruelty and death, how can you call it anything other than a horror?
So you'd say like RoboCop is a horror.
Well, no, Jenks, because it's more of a sci-fi, but it can be a sci-fi horror. Do you know what I mean?
I'm itching to find out what Dawn meant now. I'm desperate to know what ZCA is. Oh, we must be able to work it out. The remake, it's something come up recently. Zombie something. I can't think what it could be.
I have no idea.
We have
got another one from Dawn, though, which isn't abbreviated. We've got a remake of Candyman.
Is that what she meant?
No, I think this is just a different question, Jenks.
Right, okay, fair enough.
You're like an old man.
It's a lot to read, you know. I didn't see it. I didn't fancy it. You said it was rubbish, and I didn't bother.
Yeah. I hate the direction they went in with this one. I'm a huge fan of the original one. It's obviously a cult classic. And I don't want to go too much into it, but it was catered towards this new generation of movie lovers that I don't quite like. Not the people who like them. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
but it was geared towards this new audience, and I'm not a fan of those type of movies.
Yeah, it was pushing the progressive nonsense.
At the end of the day, it's a horror movie. I just want to watch a horror movie and enjoy it.
And not be preached at.
There was there was
I felt like it sounded like somebody had hijacked a film to push an agenda, like, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, Anita Costa made it, and poor thing, she ended up making the Marvels. It's not good for her career. Yes. So what I wonder what Dawn thought of that film.
Seen Chuck Steele. I have. I have seen.
My God.
Chuck Steele, Night of the Trampiers. That is one of the best stop motion movies ever. So Jenks, it's a stop motion, ultra violent, like 80s grindhouse throwback.
Yeah.
Top class film, Eli, mate. I've never heard anyone else mention that film, although it's only about 2 years old. I am a huge fan of that.
You need to be doing a podcast with Eli. I think you'd have more fun.
I know. Eli, what are you doing, pal? Have you got enough free time to do a podcast with me? I'll do a side one. I don't care.
Do you know, right?
And it's such a great concept as well. Trampires, so it's tramps that turn into vampires, obviously. Yes.
Just to go off topic, have you seen, I can't remember, have you seen Stop Motion yet? The film Stop Motion?
I haven't. I know it's the Shudder one.
It's really good.
It yet.
I'd recommend it. It's very good, and I thought it'd be a bit too artsy, but it's top notch and very original and very creepy, you know.
Jenks, you've got to watch Chuck Steele, or at least watch the trailer. Okay. It's bonkers. I can't even believe it was made, because it's really well made as well. Like, it's got a big budget, big production value. Like,
I mean, the work that goes into stop motion to make it is incredible.
Oh my God, I know, and it's top class as well.
There's a fight in Shadow Strays that is Evil Dead level go.
Oh, don't know, because I gotta wait. I can't watch it tonight, right? Because I'll fall asleep. I gotta wait until tomorrow, and my anticipation is already too high. But yes, that fills me with joy that there's Evil Dead level go.
Do you know that?
Awesome.
Know the director of Green Room? I forget his name now.
Jeremy Saulnier.
No, the film he made recently, the action film on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten that
Rebel
name.
Ridge.
Yeah, I stuck that on the other day, right? I said, to my wife, I said, let's watch this. It's meant to be good. I really like the director. I put it on for 2 minutes, and my wife goes, "Oh, I've already seen this." I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, I forgot." I was like, "Yeah, I watched it the other day." I'm like, so all right. So we wanted to watch something together. So to change it then, I was like, "How can you forget?" When I said let's watch this, sounds good. I'm like, she just watches things, doesn't need to pay attention.
Right? I've genuinely watched films with my mother, and she's realised there's 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left, and she'll go, "Oh, I've bloody seen this." And just to top that off, she will actually say what happens at the end. She'll go, "Oh, I know, I've seen this because so and so happens."
He's a ghost all along.
And that happens, like, honestly, 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Nosferatu is my next big hype. I think that's the next movie I am proper looking forward to. There's a few that's been announced for January. You've got Companion, that looks outstanding.
Heretic as well looks good.
Yes,
that's
Heretic.
Out about 2 weeks.
So yeah, Nosferatu, Heretic, probably the two last great movies coming out this year, as far as I can remember.
I think
anyway.
You've forgotten something. Paddington in Peru. Okay, Paddington is awesome.
I'll be taking my daughter to see it.
Yeah, do you know, right? There's 3 films I'm going to take my kids to, right? Well, my oldest one's 14. She's done do anything. So it's Paddington in Peru, and I said, "Oh, I'll take you," as if like it's a chore. "Oh, go on then."
Yeah.
And I say, "Oh, I'll take her to see Red One, the Santa Claus rock one."
Oh, that looks horrible.
Yeah, but it's made by the guys who made Jumanji, and I like Jumanji.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Oh, I don't mind taking to see films," and then my daughter wants to see Wicked. I'm like, "Oh, my wife, you can take her to see that shit." I won't see anything with my daughter. Fuck that shit. But for me, it's Heretic. There's nothing really I fancy this year.
Do you know? It's just the fact. Sorry to cut you off, Jenks, only because you mentioned Heretic. Just seeing Hugh Grant in this type of role. I love this career revamp he's had. He's done some great movies. He's known as the rom-com guy. Yes, Eli. You will find, Jenks, the majority of people are like me. We like a bit of everything, you know.
Yes, there are a lot of idiots in the world. You're right.
Be careful.
I got a clown on my wall, okay? Oh, I'm not I think I'm not that sophisticated. I have stop motion, but I haven't seen it yet. I've heard nothing but good things. Do you know what's great about stop motion? Putting aside the horror elements of it, it just shows you the insight of how to make stop motion. So even if you're not interested in the process, it makes you interested. Like if you've ever seen, like, I know you've probably never seen Clarkson's Farm, but I've seen it. It's amazing. I had no interest in farming, but somehow I loved it. And stop motion, I thought, oh my God, fair play to these people. the work goes in is incredible and highly recommend it.
No, of course.
Let's have a look. I can't see that.
Praying that Terrifier 3 revitalises indie horror, my most anticipated project, and even Hollywood, stoked for the Backrooms and Mandela Catalogue, both niche indie horror projects. Yes! So I'm absolutely there with you. I love my independent horror movies.
Yeah.
I have seen that the Backrooms has been announced, and I know the guy who did the original short movie of the Backrooms. If you don't know about the Backrooms, it's this terrifying lore that's kind of taken internet by storm. And this young kid, did a short film with a guy stuck in the back rooms. Now, it's a place that exists neither here or there, and there's always something that kind of hunts you, and it's just mazes of blank rooms, and it's just something really eerie about it. Now, the young boy who directed that short, I think he's like 21 now. They've hired him. Blumhouse has hired him to make a feature-length movie now of the back rooms. I'm super stoked to see that one.
It's a great name as well. The Backrooms.
2 seconds. There was another film he mentioned.
Mandela Catalogue.
Right, I haven't heard of that one, but I will look it up because I haven't heard of it. But yes, thanks for jumping on, man. I don't recognise your name from any other lives, but thanks for jumping on, man. That was a cracking question.
Appreciate it.
Or statement.
Sounds like your type of guy, girl. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's
his name's Gangster Bro.
Oh yeah, sorry. Do you know what? I don't know if it's my eyes, but it's so small, that writing. I've changed the font.
You've changed the font, and it's harder to read.
Do you know what I was doing? Because what you said last week, I was trying to match the font to your font that you'd used on the thumbnail.
It's a good shout. It's a good shout.
And that's because you've changed the background. It was the closest I could get. But fair play. It's great that, you think you know everything about horror, and it's people throwing in things you never heard of. It's great,
Yeah, I love it. And we've still got 17 people in the chat, guys. I don't particularly want to drop this live. We're running out of things between us to talk about. If anyone has any more questions for us or anything you want to chuck out, we'll give you a few more minutes just to keep this going, because, yeah, it's nice to still have 17 people in here after an hour.
I back to Heretic. I really like films like this. This is more my jam. I know you like things like this as well. I know you're not completely just slock things and that's it. But these sort of films I get excited about. I got excited about Speak No Evil, those sort of films.
Yeah, but intelligent horror, innit?
Yeah, I love the direction that Hugh Grant's going. I sense, not that he's going down horror, I sense that he's just picking projects that he just fancies. He's not thinking, I have to be a certain thing. I'm like, I want to be a gangster. I'm going to try that horror. And I think you get that with age. I don't think he has anything to prove anymore. He's not the stud anymore that he was, like in the days of...
But he's got the face for it, hasn't he? Like, his face has changed, and now he's got that great face for it. Like, you see him in the trailer for Heretic, he does not look out of place.
No.
He suits that part so perfectly. And what's more exciting about Heretic, and they've done this with a few movies, Barbarian is the biggest one that comes to mind, where you don't know anything about this movie. You've got a short trailer, and I feel like that's probably the only trailer they're gonna drop now, because it does seem like a secretive movie. Now, you get a little sense of what the film's going to be about, but I've got a feeling now we're going to go into this one and we're not going to expect what happens. A24 absolutely killing it. I feel like they're dropping at least 3 or 4 films a year now that are top tier.
Yeah, and they're the new, like, do you know, it used to be a time when I saw Blumhouse, I got excited. Not so much anymore. They've dropped a lot of shit films. But when I see A24, I sort of like take notice. Definitely, and they don't always do it exclusively horror, but it does give me that, this is going to be interesting at least,
Yes, definitely.
Right.
And we've got some comments.
Jenks, did you like City of the Living Dead? I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I love City of the Living Dead. Of course I do. I have it on 4K and Blu-ray.
But you'd have that. Even if you didn't like it, you'd have 18 versions.
It's an old slocky one. It's great though. It's a proper classic zombie movie. Jenks, you love your zombie films. If you took a deep dive specifically in like the Italian genre, there is so many I know you haven't seen that are actually passable, or more than passable to me anyway. But looking from your eyes, I know there's a lot of them you wouldn't like. a lot of them are on the level of zombie flesh eaters.
Yeah, I like zombie flesh eaters. I used to own
Well,
that.
yeah, Jenks, there's so many out there. Next time you're up, right, I'll chuck a couple on for you. There's so many good ones out there that you probably wouldn't have even heard of, Jenks, because you don't take a deep dive into like foreign horror movies. But Italy in the 80s and 70s is where zombie movies were at.
Do you know what it is with zombies for me? I love zombie movies, but do you know if the makeup isn't quite on point, it does take me out of it. Like,
no, of course, it's the biggest aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Like, you know, you can get enough extras to play zombies, because there's two aspects of zombies. The mass of zombies, like 101 zombies is cool, but mass, you know, the riot vibe. Actually, you could do that in any budget if people are willing to work for very little. Yeah. But if the makeup isn't on point, I just tighten up, and I just think, but I will give it a go. So yeah, what's a
reboot franchise you would like to see redone correctly? That's a good one. Right, easy. Friday the 13th, hands down. We've had a little glimpse of it. I think 2009. The remake came out.
Yeah. I like that film.
It's okay, but I'm not a massive fan of it. I love the classic Friday the 13th. I thought it was too big and too flashy. Jason was too big and monstrous. I would rather him go back to this small, deformed hillbilly. But it's not a bad film. I'd love someone great to get their hands on it. I know Damien Leone has talked about. He said to his agent, if anything comes up for Friday the 13th, chuck my hat in. And I think Damien Leone with a big budget could do awesome things with Friday the 13th.
His name...
Now that's a franchise I am desperate to get a good... Because we've had, I think, A24 doing Crystal Lake Memories.
Yeah, the series,
which I think could be good. I'm not overly hyped for. I think if they do dive into Jason's backstory a bit more, could be cool. But I want to see a fully fledged grown-up Jason killing people for fun.
I want him to be a zombie. I prefer him as a zombie. I
like him as a zombie, but even in Jason Lives, he still just looks like a normal guy. Now, where you've got Freddy versus Jason, and the remake, he's this giant, monstrous guy, like, which I don't hate, but I love the older Jason, you know?
Do you know... Damien Leone is doing the John Carpenter thing of putting his name attached to his Damien Leone's Terrifier, isn't it? He's doing the John Candy. John Carpenter. I'd watch that. John Candy's Terrifier. Yeah,
because his name becomes synonymous then.
Yes,
do you know what I mean?
And I think if they were worried about what Friday the 13th would make in the box office, sticking his name attached to it has definitely got a lot of value. Massively.
100%. I don't think it's something that's out of the question. I think because Friday the 13th has been stuck in hell, for rights hell for years and years and years.
He went to hell, didn't he?
yeah. That's why we haven't got much from him. But I would love to see that done. What about you, Jenks? What franchise?
I got an easy one. You're going to kick yourself. Jeepers Creepers. Not a remake, a reboot. Stick it, that character... The character is so good. He should be doing the rounds in these horror conventions. He should be up there with Jason and Freddy. The Creeper is one of the best villains ever. The lore, the films, the first two films are brilliant. It's just a shame the director's fucking disgusting, and it just went to pot. They tried to reboot it about 2 or 3 years ago, and it was a piece of shit. I don't think you even saw that reboot, did you?
No, I didn't. I watched a 20-minute YouTube video.
I
watched a 20-minute YouTube video of someone making fun of it. And there's one scene, right, in that film where there's a girl running on grass. You can grass now, right, that you see everywhere. And she's green screened running on grass, and you can see her feet aren't quite touching the floor.
Yeah.
That's the level this movie's on. You've got someone green screened on grass. It's ridiculous. Yeah,
it's a really bad movie, and I shouldn't have been made, you know. Right.
Yes, they are.
I love all these big stars that are coming over to horror. It's definitely where the money's at.
We've seen a massive shift in big stars coming over to horror now, because, like I've been saying for a long time, horror is constantly on the up, and I feel like it was dead for a long time.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're in that great era again, and I think we're getting close to an era that people are going to remember. Maybe in 20, 30 years' time, they look back on this period.
Yeah.
And I think with A24, Blumhouse, all these big companies coming through and making really well-made horror movies,
Yeah.
I think we're in the midst of an iconic decade.
And do you know what it is? And I stand by this. It's because superheroes are not dominating anymore. And
Yes,
these
of
these
course.
projects are not afraid of the cinema. You know, go back 5 years, you'd be terrified to put your film next to like an Iron Man film or something, or an Avengers. You're
course.
thinking, oh, it's not worth it. And they'll just get lost on streaming, one of the multiple streaming platforms. Now, you know, things like Substance. Put Substance out 5 years ago, it would have been lost completely, wouldn't it? You know,
100%.
without a doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's a good one for you, Kurt, this year. Have
Eli,
you seen this? Story of
Yeah.
Ricky?
Eli, you are absolutely my man. I have seen it. I own it on Blu-ray. It is one of the most bonkers movies you'll ever see. It's an Asian movie set in a prison, and you've got this Bruce Lee type guy who,
My God.
honestly, right, Jenks, he punches a whole hole in someone's stomach.
Yeah.
It's so overly violent. It's like Ed said earlier. It's like a manga turned into a film. But it is absolutely bonkers. Eli, you're a legend, pal. Again, it's another film no one talks about. Great movie.
Yeah. City Living Dead is a good film. Yeah. I'll give it a go next time I'm up. I'm up to see you soon.
Yes, let's do it.
Did you get any decent autographs?
No, so I don't do autographs only because they cost the same amount as photos. Now, I would rather get a photo because to me that's more memorable, and I actually get to just... I mean, with autographs, people usually have photos and chat and stuff. But for me, I'd much rather have photos, and the queues for autographs are insane. Now, I'm meeting Tom Savini next month, and I will absolutely get a few steelbooks signed because
Fingers
he is
crossed.
someone... Yes, he's cancelled twice. Now, this is the third time I'm trying to see him. Now, I've got a photo booked, and I will be getting a few steelbooks signed. I've got The Burning on steelbook. I'll be getting that signed. And Day of the Dead. But because he's so important to me, I'd want to get something signed by him.
Yes. Eli Jenks, you need to be more open like great classics like Dario Argento's Dracula 3D. I haven't even heard of that. Is that a thing?
It is. He did do Dracula 3D. It's
Do you
got
own it? How many copies have you got, Kurt?
none. It's got Rutger Hauer in it.
That's how bad it is. Curtis doesn't have 8 copies.
No, do you know what? Dario Argento, I love that guy so much, and specifically his 70s and 80s run, that I hate his later movies because of the drop-off he had. Whereas I'm not willing to accept them, do you know what I mean? Because he was so great in his heyday.
Yeah.
Of course you do, you're awesome.
Blu-ray.
Of course you do.
Good. You feel jealous now. He's more of a Slocky fan than you, isn't he? Yeah. Yes.
Hey, we've matched you. I feel like we've connected, Eli.
Yeah, I definitely. I honestly found your soulmate with.
No, my girlfriend's watching. She's on that.
She's jealous. Who is this Eli? Who is this Ellie? Eli, a legend, and I really appreciate you pitching in with these. It's really funny. I have seen a few Dario Argentos. I know Demons. I think he just produced those, but Demons was the first.
No, he wrote and produced Demons. So take that.
He was. That was one of the. I watched them very early on, the Demons films, and they blew me away.
Shout out to my new Demons tattoo. So only about 2 weeks ago I got this done. I got the Demons mask tattooed because Demons is one of my ultimate movies. I watched it way too young, and it's a movie that stuck with me. Now I'm struggling to what to get on my other hand because there's too many, but Demons was always the option. I was always going to get that mask. And huge fan of Dario Argento, huge fan of Demons.
Yeah, I go back to that bit in number 1 when the girl gets descalped.
Oh my God, it's horrific.
It's horrible, you know.
What about the blind guy getting his eyes cut out though? It's like,
He was already blind. They should have pulled his eardrums out or something. Oh, deaf as well. Yes.
Demons is good. It is. I think it is one of the greatest horror movies ever. And do you know what? it's a lot more underground than I thought, because you go to these horror cons and they've got such a variety of horror movies. I never see Demons merch, and I thought it was, maybe I thought it was bigger than it is. But I think within a certain community, it's a cult movie. But
Yeah.
I never see Demons merch. It's hard to get.
It's funny. I saw Demons 2 first. My uncle put it on for me when I was about 7, probably 8.
Yeah.
And then your dad showed me number 1. So it's kind of in our own circle, you know. So,
Yeah. My thing is though, innit, like Demons 2 is a weird one because it's a reboot sequel because they've gone for a new story. Because obviously the last one set up this demon apocalypse.
Yeah.
And then the second one just starts again. They share similar scenes and it just reboots back up again, but in the high-rise tower. But
Yeah.
there's loads of references to demons of the past. Obviously, when she gets possessed, she's watching a documentary about what happened before.
Yes. It's very
So
true.
it's a weird one to do because everyone thought that Demons 2 was going to be like a Demons Apocalypse, but
Yeah.
they basically remade it and just chucked in a few references to the first one, like.
But yeah, it's, you know, it's I do. It's only have you seen? Is there a subtitle version or? Because I've only ever seen the dubbed version. Never had the option.
Yeah, there will be, yeah, but I haven't seen the original. I've always watched it dubbed.
I think you've got to kind of watch it dubbed now.
Shut up, you bitch!
Yeah, the pimp.
Yeah,
And
shut
he's
up, you bitch!
And he plays the gym instructor in the second one.
Yeah.
Come on. I take it with the majority that I prefer Demons 2.
Minority.
I prefer Demons 2. I do.
Do you know,
I do prefer
So-
it.
for a long time, I have said that I prefer Demons 2 because I prefer the setting, but the first one the second one is slow in parts. Now, I'm a huge fan of Demons 2, right? I love them both. But the first one just moves faster and it's a lot more violent. The second one actually shows a lot off camera and doesn't show enough violence. Now, considering how violent the first one is, it's a little bit of a step back. But I prefer the setting of the second one. I love that it utilises all the different floors and all the different rooms. You've got the demon dog. It's just great. I love. And the scene where they're stuck in the elevator and you can see them all running past.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my
and
God.
it's
Nightmare fuel.
Through the gap.
Yeah. Nightmare fuel.
Yes, I forgot about that. I haven't seen it for years, like probably 30
Oh my
years.
God. No,
At least 30
Jordan,
years.
Demons 2 is a top tier film. The first one edges it a little bit for me.
Especially when they're climbing down at the end and there's a pregnant woman and
Yeah.
the demons are coming down the rope. It's really good. It's quite a high sort of
Yeah, of course.
production, I suppose, for
Yeah.
a low budget. Do you know? Yeah, what I love about it as well is that, well, the only things that I would say how to improve like Evil Dead Rise was that it just was set in that one corridor with a few apartments, and I was
of course,
kind
of
of
course.
hoping it would be multiple layers, different characters, like what's that film we watched the other day? Spiders, Infested.
Infested, yeah.
That's the only gripe I have with Evil Dead Rise, even though I love it. And they do it really well in Demons 2. They got multiple characters and you don't lose track. You're quite happy to follow it, even the gym instructor guy.
Yeah, of course. And when Evil Dead Rise was announced and they said it was going to be set in a high-rise tower, my mind went straight to Demons 2 because I thought, oh my God, the shit they can do with this one. And I instantly went to, obviously, utilising multiple floors. You could have a few different families that all kind of come together. Now, I love what they did with Evil Dead Rise. They kind of, they treated it like a cabin. So they're secluded on that floor. Their door with the people, that's the trap door. Obviously, they lock her down, they lock her outside. And then the staircase is the river that gets trashed. Flooded, trashed. Who's trashed my river? The river that gets flooded. So I thought that was super clever.
The same beats. Yes.
Yeah, same beats. It was awesome.
I feel like watching Demons 2 now.
I watched it the night before I got my tattoo just to get myself hyped up. I watched Demons 1 and 2.
Did you watch it in case you thought, I don't like his film anymore, maybe I won't have his tattoo anymore?
Right, I would say that if I didn't watch the movies like 10 times a year, you know?
Yeah. Right, I always got a few more years to see this same shit, different smell.
Similar smell too, if I'm honest.
Don, have either of you watched House of Wax 2000? No, this wasn't. This was the Paris Hilton one, isn't
Paris
it?
Hilton one, yes.
I got confused when we did that podcast. You said Wax
With
World.
Waxwork, yeah,
World.
yeah.
I have seen this. At the time, I don't think it was very good. But again, in retrospect, sometimes you go back to these films and sometimes you're harsh on it because there were so many other films that were better.
Yeah.
You might have...
Do you know what? I remember it coming out. I was quite young when it came out. I wasn't a massive fan of it. But this movie's got a bit of a cult following now. A lot of people have really gone behind this movie. Similar with the Thing prequel that came out in 2011.
I enjoy it.
People come round to these movies. Sometimes they don't do well and people come round.
Yes.
Funnily enough, I've just watched Poltergeist 1 and 2 in the last week. Ready to watch. I've never seen Poltergeist 3. I've only ever seen the first two. So, yes, I'll be watching the third one this week.
Jordan, oddly enough, we were talking about Poltergeist 3. You mentioned in that you hadn't seen it, and I've seen it a few times. And there are some creepy moments in it. Obviously, the actor who played Kane in the second one died, so they changed the actor, and he's not as menacing, obviously. But there are some creepy moments, a good use with mirror horror, with like delayed, sort of like she's talking to her husband, I think, in the mirror, and then he walks away. When he looks back, he's still there, and then walks away. And it's such a clever use of like mirror horror, and I got to say, it's probably worth another shout.
Yeah, I don't know why I never watched it, but I've seen the first two loads of times. But yeah, never watched the third one. I think for a long time I didn't even know there was a third one.
Basically, all films by the third one go onto a high rise. You know, like Critters. I think number 3 is a high rise. I think eventually they go on a high rise.
High rise and then space. They just get higher and higher. Yeah. You've got ground, high rise, tower, space.
Yeah.
And then what's higher than space?
I know, right. I think it's a good place to wrap it up, Kurt. Happy?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, yeah.
Fantastic show. I really appreciate all you guys. A few newbies today joining the channel. I think it's one of the biggest ones we've had, I think, with the watchers. Is amazing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's been a great life. And to think I didn't want to do a live today because I'm wrecked.
I know. One more one I just come in for me, like, because you had to stump you. Ninja Terminator. His father used to own it. Yes, I don't think you've seen it. If it was just, it was on your father's shelf.
I know about this film. My father owned it on DVD.
He paid £1.
Watched it.
Yeah, I don't think
he had Ninja Terminator and Alien vs Hunter.
And when I asked your dad, I said, "Why have you got Ninja Terminator?" He goes, "Oh, it was only £1." I'm like, "Have you seen it?" No, it's just something wrong here.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we really appreciate it. We love doing this. And we don't get nervous anymore, which is great. We were nervous at first too, and I get excited. Because we got so much to talk about. But it's been a particularly good one today, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, just like I always do at the end of every live, everyone who's jumped on today, thank you all so much for engaging, chucking us comments, and just being awesome. Like I said, we'll keep doing these lives as long as you guys keep coming and enjoying them. Yeah. Eli, you're the man. Thank you, pal. All of you, you've been great. Thank you.
And also, we're trying, like we said, we're pretty new to this sort of YouTube game. We've been doing it not quite a year yet,
9 months.
We're still learning. And we're trying to build a community. We don't want to just put videos out and hope people watch them. We want to interact. That's why we do the lives. So I know we're on Facebook and things like that, but I've just set up a private Facebook group, Twisted Locker. It's in the description and one of the links. Click it if you want to join, and you can post stuff, anything to do with horror, recommendations. You know the drill. Facebook's been around long enough, but it's a private group. So just
Zuckerberg.
Just click the invite. But brilliant. We won't see you next week because you're away, Curtis, this time. I know we said that last week.
I am away. I'm on holidays next Sunday, so...
Yeah. But we will be posting our normal videos because obviously they're pre-recorded. But the live, obviously, we can't do remote. If he was a big fan, he would be doing it from his holiday,
on a ship.
Sunbathing.
Okay, like,
Drunk. Right. Cheers, guys. Yeah, so check out the Facebook group. It's new. We only got 5 members. We only set it up today. And tell your friends about our channel and subscribe. Cheers, guys. Catch you in the next
thank you,
one.
guys.
Thanks, guys.